Hello and welcome. So today I am going to take you through some goal setting. This is a process that I use and many people I know use and works well. So let's take you through it. So let's set some goals for the new year. Just to say, this process in part can be used quarterly, monthly, how often you want to set your goals. And you don't just need to do this because it's a new calendar year. Some people do this in line with their financial year. Some people do it calendar year because it works. Some people do it following their birthday because the birthday is a good time to reset as well. So whenever works for you, there's no right or wrong time, just whenever works for you. And I'll take you through the process a little bit further and explain how you can repeat and rinse and repeat and everything as well. So often we do know what we do want, but quite a lot of the time we more focus on what we don't want. So we don't want to take things into the next year. We don't want this, we don't want that. So how to figure out what we do want sometimes is not the easiest. But I'm hoping these steps that we're going to follow through will help you to figure out what you do want and then to break that down into how you're going to get it. So the first step is always reflection. When was, and we're all bad at this, but when was the last time you stopped and allowed yourself a moment to appreciate just how far you've come? A little bit of sciencey stuff. Experts review the past to predict the future. Scientists review data, graphs, etc., and then predict what will happen next. But I think a lot of us business owners, we just go rushing in, so busy to plan what we're going to do next and everything, that we actually we forget to reflect and review what's happened in the past. And of course, something I'm really keen on is giving yourself a pat on the back for everything that you have actually achieved, because so many times we just dismiss our achievements, dismiss the milestones we've reached because we're still trying to focus on getting to the next bit. So take some time to have a think about what you've achieved in the last year, quarter, period, whatever period you're looking at doing. And I've got some questions here for you to think about. So have a think about, what did you set out to achieve that you have achieved? What have you learned on that journey? What can you do now that you couldn't do 6 months ago or a year ago? Or what do you have now that you didn't have then? What 3 things did you do well in 2024? So I am basing this on calendar year. But you can look at whatever period you're looking at, and what could you do more of? And then what hasn't gone quite according to plan, but what have you learned as a result? Because you never fail, you always learn. And it's that first step in learning, FAIL, first attempt in learning. There you go, first attempt in learning. So pause this recording and go and answer some of those questions and take a real good look at what you have achieved over the last year. And then when you're ready to move on, press play again. Okay, so moving on. This is one of my favourite quotes. And if you've been in my world at all, you probably would have heard me say this before. But the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And I wholeheartedly stand by this. We are capable of whatever we want. We just need to believe that we can do it and then go and do it. Which I know sounds a lot simpler saying it like that, but it's what I believe and I love it. So I think the first step in this is really truly thinking about, what does success mean to you? And I've got a few questions here. So for each question, pause it, think about it, write some notes, and then come back and press play again. What does success mean to you? And that doesn't mean, what does it mean to society? What does it mean to your friends? What does it mean to your family or your family expectations of you? What does success truly mean to you? And then moving on, this is something that my husband and I love to do. We love to play the lottery game and think about what would you do if you won the lottery. And the reason we love this is because it gives you and your brain a chance to really think and dream, think of all the things that you could possibly do that you probably wouldn't think about on a normal day because you're too busy thinking, oh, well, I couldn't do that because I haven't got the money, and all things like that. We get these thoughts all the time. So, playing this game, what would you do if you won the lottery, allows you to really dream and think about this. And I think I've shared this many times as well. It's a really good game to play. My husband and I play it on long car journeys or when we're bored on the plane or whatever, any journeys where, focus otherwise could not be taken away. You've just got time to chat and talk. And each time we play it, we dream a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And quite often things that come from it are things that we haven't thought of because we're so busy thinking small and what we can do. We don't think about all the bigger things and then think about, okay, well, I can't do that, but what could I do to get closer to it? So that's why I think this is a really, really good exercise to do. So again, take some time to do this, and you may come back to this one more than once. I know we come back to it quite a bit. So yeah, take some time to think about what you would do if you won the lottery. And then next up, kind of following on from the last one, but what would you do if there were no barriers? So by barriers, I mean money, but obviously we've covered that in the last question. Time. If you had no time issues, you had all the time in the world, what would you do? Fear. This is a big one. We don't do things because we're scared of them. But if you didn't have any fear, what would you do? Childcare is one that, yes, has definitely stopped me dreaming and thinking in the past. We know children, for those who are parents, are a blessing. However, it does restrict us, and there's no getting away from that fact. School runs and things like that, childcare. So if you didn't have any childcare issues, i.e. you'd won that lottery and you had all the money to employ a nanny, granted you want to spend time with your children, but obviously if you didn't have the barrier of childcare to help you, what would you do? Technology. So much technology out there. Paid, non-paid. If you could afford all the technology in the world, what would you do? Knowledge and skills, and I'm going to do these together because I think they go hand in hand. So we quite often think, oh, well, I would do this, or would like to do that, but I can't because I don't know how, or I don't have the right skill set. So what if you did have the right skill set and the right knowledge? What would you do then? And I think probably one of the biggest things that's a barrier is that little voice in your head that says, you can't do that, or people like you don't do that, or that's silly, why would you want to do that? Get rid of that voice. Tell it to do one and think about what would you do if it wasn't there with all those silly little comments. And from this, and taking this further, I guess, you get to design your dream life. So I've got some questions on the next slide here for you to think about. And again, make notes of these. What do you want your life to look like? What would your dream life be if you could design it from scratch? Take out everything that you've thought of so far, like all the barriers, all the things that have happened in your life so far. If you could design your dream life, what would it be? And there's a load of prompts there to go through and help you. Oh, so as I said, I hope you've been writing everything down from those prompts and those thoughts and those questions that I've given to you. Write them all down in a Word document. You may need to make some sense out of it all. And then head over to ChatGPT. Just the free version will be fine. And you may want to change the prompt a little bit, but this is a really good prompt to get you started. And just write me a story of a day in the life as my future self based off of this description, and then upload the document or copy and paste, whatever you're doing, into ChatGPT, and it will give you a story of the day in your life, and it'd be really fun and interesting. And you can read through that, and you can truly visualize what your future life would look like. And if something's not quite right, or you're not liking something, you can go back and change your description, like your Word doc and your what you would like. If it's not quite how you thought it would be, you can change it, or you can ask ChatGPT to amend it slightly, say take this out or take that out, and then redo it. And I think this is a really, really good way to visualize and make sure that the life you've designed is the life that you want. Oh, so when you've done all of that, it's now time to start breaking that down and actually doing some planning and doing some things. So you've set some goals, or you've looked at what things you want to achieve, and you've probably got some really big ones in there. You've probably got some really smaller ones in there. But basically, we need to break everything down. Now, you've probably had the saying before, SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So all of your goals should have something along like this. So it's no good in just saying, I want to read more books this year. You need to say, well, what is more books? Because technically, if you read one more book than last year, then you've read more books. But is that the more that you had in mind? So how many more books would you like to read? So you can be specific with that, and you want to do it by the end of the year. You're measurable, so you've got, say you want to read 10 books by the end of, let's say 12 books to make it easy, one a month. So you've got it measurable. Is that achievable, and is it realistic? Could you achieve it? Yes. Is it realistic? I don't know your lifestyle, but is it realistic around your life? Will you have time to read that many books? And then timely, you've set a goal of by the end of the year, or one a month. So you've got that. And then you can break things down into baby steps. So I'm going to talk you through one here where we're going to break it down from 1 year goal into quarterly rocks, into a weekly plan, and then into daily actions. So the goal is 50,000 in revenue for this year, for 2025. And I've just done this very, very simply. So it's not based on recurring revenue or anything. It's just literally based on hitting a £50,000 revenue goal by the end of the year. So first off, let's break that down. How many clients do you need to achieve that £50,000 revenue goal? So let's just say, or sales. So let's just say your average sale per client is £1,000. So if your average sale is £1,000 and you want to get to £50,000, then you need 50 sales or clients to do that. So there you go. That's broken down slightly already. To hit your 50k revenue, you need 50 clients or sales. So how many inquiries do you need to get a client or a sale? So this is your conversion rate. So how many inquiries, or how many people coming and looking at your product then actually go on and buy your product. So let's just say it's a 50-50 conversion rate. So 50% of people that inquire about your product or service will then go on to buy it. So that's a 50% conversion rate. So to get 50 clients, you then need 100 inquiries. So already you've taken that big goal of 50,000 revenue and you're like, right, well, I need 100 inquiries. And now you can break that down into quarters and months and things as well. So you say, right, well, if I need 100 inquiries in the year, that's 25 a quarter. Or if your business is seasonable, then you'd put it which quarters and how many inquiries. But just for basic, that's 25 inquiries a quarter. You can also break that down into months. I haven't done the equation 100 into 12, and my brain is not worthy of that right now, so I'm not going to do that and embarrass myself, but you get my gist. And then you can also break that down and say, right, okay, so if I need, let's stick with quarterly, if I need 25 inquiries this quarter, what can I do this week to get those inquiries in? What can I do this day, today or tomorrow, to get those inquiries in? And it could be you say, right, well, I'm going to do one networking meeting a month, or one market a month if you're a product that sells at markets, or I'm going to do 3 social posts a week to reach my audience, or whatever it is, then you can break that down further into what you're going to do, your weekly plan and your daily actions. Now, you could also ask ChatGPT to help. Can you tell I've done some ChatGPT training recently and I'm really getting into it? What you could do is go back to that future you in the day in the life. You can, once it's given you your day in life and you're happy with it, you can then turn around to ChatGPT and say, create me a daily schedule for me to follow that will allow me to achieve this life, and include a step-by-step plan with time blocking and ideas and everything to help make this day of the life into a reality, or something like that. But you need to give it really specific prompts, and then it will come back and it will give you a plan, and you can tweak that plan. It's not going to be perfect, obviously, but you can go back and you can tweak that. So it will help you to then break that down. And I think that's a really good idea if you're struggling to figure out how to break it down. Even if ChatGPT doesn't give you the exact answers that you need, it's going to give you a stepping stone to figure out the answers. And make that a reality for you. And what I would say is, obviously, you've broken that 1 year down into quarterly rocks. So I would recommend, and I do this quarterly, I review all the goals quarterly and reset for the next goal. So, reset for the next quarter. So this is my quarterly cycle: reflect, review, reset. So reflect on last quarter, use the same as at the beginning. So go back to here, the reflection, and these questions, and you can just look at it on the last quarter. Then come back. I've lost my slides now. There we go. Then come back, review. Are the goals still valid? Do you still want them? Are they still achievable? Are you still heading in the right direction, or is there a new direction you want to go? Is one goal more of a priority over another goal now? So just make sure you are using the same map. No, that's not right. Make sure your destination is the same. That's the word I'm looking for, so that you can adjust the map accordingly to the right destination. And then reset for the next quarter. So again, break down. You've now got the next quarter's rocks. So going back to what we said before, the 50,000. So your first quarter was 25. Do you still want 100 by the end of the year? Is that still a valid goal? Is it still realistic? Has something happened to make that actually we can stretch that goal? Or actually, no, that was a bit over realistic. Let's bring it down a little bit so you don't dishearten yourself. Work out what the new quarterly goal is. And then again, break that down: weekly, daily actions. And again, and again, and again. So yeah, this is how I do all my planning. But of course, you're never going to get anywhere if you don't take action. So I wouldn't spend too much time trying to get the plan and the goal setting spot on and perfect. Take that perfectionism away. This is a rolling thing that's going to keep going and going and going. The important part is you have a plan of some degree and you take action. So what is going to be, off the back of this, what is going to be your first step to building the life or the year that you want? What is it you're committing to today? And please do feel free to email and message and let us know, and we can help you stay accountable. So yes, thank you very much. I hope this has really helped and you've got some goals there. And what I would say as well, as I didn't say earlier, but don't overstress yourself out that you've got to have loads and loads of goals. Maybe just focus on three to five max. I've got 3 overarching goals for the year, which pretty much are all on the same theme, with a couple of other small little ones. I'm not focusing too much, because if there's too much to do, I'm just going to get overwhelmed and not do it. So it's easier to focus on a couple of priorities and really do them well and achieve them, rather than try and do everything and get nowhere. So yeah, wishing you a fabulous 2025, and I know you're going to go and smash your goals.